Hi again, everyone. First of all, it's a big pleasure to be here with you, and thank you for coming to our meetup. We really, really love to see you all here. Before I start my session, I have a really quick question. Could you please raise hand who use Rider in the daily work? Oh, great. Thank you, thank you. So, for you and for the rest, today I will give you a quick overview of what Rider is, where do we stand today, and what are our plans for the future. And after that, after my session, I will invite our solutions engineer, Tao, to showcase you several advanced and updated demos on our technical features and AI workflows. But before, for those who are less familiar with JetBrains, we've been building professional tools for software developers for over 25 years. Today, more than 15 million people use our tools daily, worldwide. And many of you probably heard about tools like IntelliJ or Kotlin as a programming language. For game development, Rider is our flagship product. And over the last several years, we see huge growth in adoption among game developers all over the world. When people think about JetBrains, they always think about IDEs, DevTool solutions. But actually, our goal and our product offering is wider than that. We provide a connected toolchain covering the entire game development lifecycle. Rider as IDE, TeamCity for CI/CD, Kadana for code quality and governance, and of course, our JetBrains AI platform to enable your AI workflows and provide you a seamless experience. What's interesting is Rider adoption is particularly strong among big studios, AAA studios, studios with heavy processes. For us, it's a validation and showcase that our tooling is scalable and can meet any challenge that you face in your daily work and in your big projects. But what is Rider? Well, to put it simply, the philosophy behind Rider can be summarized this way. Rider is one IDE for every engine, for every platform, for every task. We invest heavily into researching of what matters for game developers, what challenges they face every day, and what technologies they would like to adopt and to improve. For engineers, that means deep support for all the game development engines that are majorly presented on the world stage, such as Unity, Unreal Engine, and even custom engine environments. As an example, we work tightly with many studios, and we recently cooperated a lot with Guerrilla Games to provide a custom support for their in-house engine called Decima. Beyond engine, Rider actually covers a lot of roles in GameDev. You can work with shaders, you can be a technical arter, you can work with game logic, you can work on a design. We have it all. And we also have a lot of ecosystem advances built in, such as blueprints, dots, remote development, TeamCity integration, Perforce integration, to meet all of your questions and all of your needs in the workflow. And you cannot be a good game development tool if you don't support major platforms. So Rider fully supports every major platform, such as PlayStation, PC, Xbox, and also, of course, mobile. Mobile is a big market and it's growing every year. So we provide very deep integration and very good support for mobile development workflows. But what does it mean, right? Let's start with Unity, for example. Our Unity integration goes far beyond syntax highlighting and code completion. Rider understands Unity-specific APIs and project structures, allowing it to provide engine-aware inspections and safe refactorings. You can control Unity editor directly from Rider, run tests, work with Shader Lab, and many, many more. A especially powerful feature that we recently presented is a mixed mode debugging. And this is a very interesting thing, and I will not tell you more about this because Tao will show you examples later in his session. For Unreal Engine developers, Rider opens your project's files directly and understands the whole Unreal reflection system. This means assistance for your class, your property, your function, and specifiers, rather than just treating everything as a plain ordinary macros. We provide blueprint navigation, live coding support, LLDB debugging, and many, many more things. We also adopt new things. So, for example, we now support Godot, and we support C#, C++, GDScript, along with the editor integration, debugging, and testing support through GD Unit for Net. And when you put everything together, all these features, all this integration, you see that Rider combines 4 major strengths. First of all, as an IDE, it provides you powerful coding assistance with more than 2,500 inspections and advanced code analysis. Second, it provides you deep game engine-specific integrations across Unity, Unreal Engine, Godot, or custom engines. And third, a full consolidation. So instead of switching between multiple tools, multiple environments, you can work in one place. You can work with profiling, debugging, version control, shaders, tests, blueprints, and also run very advanced AI agentic workflows in one simple place. And let's look at some of the improvements that we shipped in the past releases and preparing for the next ones. Actually, many of those, a lot of our releases and a lot of our roadmaps are coming directly from game developers. We listen to what people need, to what developers are looking for, and try to implement it in our roadmap. So please, please, if you have any need or any feature, any problem, don't hesitate, submit a ticket, text me in LinkedIn, write anywhere. We will try to adopt it, we will put it in our backlog, and we will try to make Rider even better tool for you. But about updates, right? So probably a lot of you know that Rider supports remote development, right? Rider supports remote development with Windows hosts through the JetBrains Toolbox app and OpenSSH. But what does it mean? Actually, like this one. So, for example, imagine you're a senior developer, right? And you have a junior working on some of your tasks, and he needs help. He needs help with debugging. You don't have to actually walk to him, or maybe he works remotely. You don't need to go there. You can just connect to his machine remotely and help with debugging, debug his code, and complete the task with him. This is a long-lasting one. So shader debugging has been a very requested feature for Unity developers. So Rider now allows you to debug shader lab shaders directly through the integrated frame viewer. You can inspect draw calls, texture breakpoints without leaving the IDE. So the next one is mixed mode debugging I mentioned, right? You can step directly between managed C# code and C++ code in a single debugging session. For teams working across engine and gameplay layers on custom things, this is dramatically reduces code, context switching and improve overall experience working with these tasks. Performance optimization is daily tasks for game developers, especially for those who work on the larger products or legacy projects. And Rider now can load and analyze Unity profiler snapshots directly inside the IDE. We reworked this feature for you. You can look at the performance information directly in the editor. And it helps you identify expensive methods, problematic methods, and navigate all the bottleneck and challenges faster, right in the IDE. Mobile, as I mentioned, is major game development platform right now. A lot of successful games are being launched just on mobile, and more of them getting released every year. So Rider now provides improved support for Unreal Engine mobile workflows, including deployment and debugging for Android and debugging support for iOS on macOS. And also, many studios rely on custom engines and custom internal tooling that is on CMake. So Rider now includes support for CMake-based projects, making it a better choice for engine teams and studios building proprietary technology. So take a look. And well, long-awaited topic, right? AI. AI is changing software development rapidly. AI is changing the way we look at code, we work with tasks. AI is changing practically every aspect of the working life for every person. And our strategy is not to build a closed or stagnant ecosystem. We actually, as an IDE, we want Rider to become the place where developers can work with the AI tools that they already prefer, or with new tools that are coming on the market. So today, Rider supports OpenAI, Codex, Claude Agent, Juni, GitHub Copilot, and other external agents. And how can it be possible, right? We introduced ACP registry to our IDE. ACP is an agent client protocol that allows you to connect your agent, plug it in directly into JetBrains IDE. So studios and game developers can now choose the tools that fit the workflow rather than being locked into a single vendor, a single provider. We also support bring your own key. So for example, if you already have a big subscription or enterprise contract within your company, You can easily plug in your API key and utilize your own quota, your own tokens, while working in Rider as an IDE. This flexibility is particularly important for larger teams, for enterprise developers who have serious contractual obligations or security concerns. Because on top of what I just mentioned, you can also plug in your own custom models and local models there. But we don't stop there, because as I mentioned before, general purpose AI is not very suited for game development. So we are trying to tune that for game development workflows. So unlike generic coding solutions, Rider can actually understand your Unity code or Unreal Engine code. It understands game-specific context. It can use metadata, assets, scene information, engine-specific APIs, all of that. And all of that we package into our MCP server. So Rider MCP server packages all the advanced features of Rider into it, so such as refactoring or debugging or indexing or navigation, all of that is there. It means that when you plug in Rider into your agentic workflow as an MCP server, your agent can call directly Rider features instead of using its own. It helps in two ways. A, it helps with optimizing and saving the context of your model, because now instead of indexing, for example, all the blueprints or all the assets you have, it calls the feature that is already in Rider and gets the results faster. And also it helps you optimize tokens, so you will be able to spend less on your workflow. Well, this is the end of my session, so I want to thank you for spending this time with me today, and I would like to advertise Tao, because his session is coming right after mine. We will showcase you on examples and demos how the new agentic workflow could be implemented and what is the place of Rider in there. Modern game development is evolving very fast, and we are trying to keep up, and we are trying to prepare a platform for you so you could keep up and implement all the cutting-edge solutions in your day-to-day operations. Thank you.
They quite love our GameDev Ultimate IDE, Rider. So today, I want to introduce some core I want to introduce Rider as a core workbench for new agentic-driven GameDev workflow. The key idea is simple. So coding can help us write coding agents. I mean, most of you have already using agents like Cloud Code, Codex, and our own agent, Junie, in your daily works. It can help us write, inspect, refactor, test, and document code. But they only become useful in production on large scales, or in your system, or in your company, or in your teams. So when they are share same context and control as a development team. For game studios, the context is not only source code. It includes Unity scenes and prefabs, Unreal reflections, reflection macros, and blueprint usages, shaders, blueprint build pipelines even, and version control related informations, issue history, and quality gates. So this talk is not about AI chats as a side panel, you know? You already use a lot of product as it. So it's about Rider as a place where human and coding agent work together, with JetBrains tools providing a delivery and governance layer around it. So as you can see, that the scarcity resource has changed. With modern AI, generated code is becoming cheap. So the expensive part is getting the change right. So understanding the task, respecting project context, passing review, and reaching a safe mainline merge. In a large game project, the human cannot manually inspect every line that the agent may produce. So it means that the real bottleneck moves to the verification, quality control, and governance. Yeah. So this is where an IDE-centered workflow become important. So if AI output is created inside the system, already understand the code base and can run inspections, test, VCS operations, and policy tasks. So the team can scale AI usages without losing control. So it returns on AI, it decides less by generation speed a lot of models can generate faster and faster nowadays. It's more about infrastructures that validate for work. So I will start to introduce you some background of our AI integration related functionalities. Then we go to some live demos, so let you better understand our new related features. So generative AI break down the game dev because game projects are deeply system dependent. A file scope assistant can generate code that look correct, but it may miss engine semantics, assess dependencies, reflection macros, blueprint, or prefab usages, perforce locks, and build a performance constraints. For Unity, the safe change may depend on scene, prefabs, serialized field, shader files, and test or profiling signals. For Unreal, the agent must respect macros, build modules, reflections, blueprint links, and native debugging realities. For team who using perforce, stream, and changeless, context also matters. So Rider already sit at the point that where much of the context comes together. So that's why IDE is the nature foundation of game dev agents, coding agents here. It can provide semantic, engine-aware, delivery-aware context instead of asking agents to guess from a single file. So we expect the game dev stack at a production layer, but not a single tool. So at the bottom here, so Rider and .Ultimate tools gives developers a strong everyday environment for coding, navigation, debugging, profiling, and refactoring. So some people who are already using Riders, you can realize how it's convenient in your daily use. About that, the agent access layers that we want to share both human and agents the same context. Agent needs a control the way the IDE context and tools, and this is where coding agent fit. So those through the ACP and MCP protocols. To people who most of you already knows what is MCP, and for ACP we call it Agent Client Protocol. It's a bridge of your tools, IDEs, and the agents to share and benefit each part of context. The next layer is quality delivery. Codana, TeamCity, test coverage, and inspections move validation closer every change. All the top is governance, policy, security, budget control, as we just mentioned. So, and the organizational visibility through the related platform capabilities, JetBrains AI and cloud platforms. Each layer reinforces each other's, so teams get a seamless environment instead of disconnected tools. The core concept is that Rider, we want to build on this direction, and we're already on the road. Rider wants to become a shared IDE, both human and agents. Human already use Rider for coding operations. So agents should not work outside that environment and then throw the code back over the wall. You can just use your coding agent in any kinds of CLIs nowadays, and you will be much more benefited by the shared IDE context. When an agent uses same semantic infrastructures, it can reason with a project level context rather than the plain task. So when it uses the same tools, it can run inspections, apply safe refactoring, or even debugging as yourselves in IDEs. And because the agent acts through Rider, sensitive actions can be reviewed, stopped, audited, and reversed. So all the agent modifications and changed will be tracked in your IDE environment. For somebody who already use agents in their daily works, they will realize that it could be hard to roll back on some changes since there's no ways to track them. This is the difference between AI assistant that suggests the code and agentic workflow that the team can actually trust. Rider is moving towards an official open path for all the AI agent integration. ACP we introduced here is not a simple wrapper CLI. It's not simply wrapper CLI agent into IDE to Windows. It actually works as a bridge between the two worlds. So CLI agents could use IDE. Let's use IDE track agent changes, as I just mentioned. So easy to roll back in different changes, and examine and approve agent operations in scale. It also brings IDE a deep understanding of your project and agent. So through MCP servers, we expose it through the ACP server. Actually, ACP is a larger concept than MCP here because ACP is a superset, and it can just pass all the MCP settings inside of it. So these features, we name it the code intelligence. We give it a new concept and can boost our agent performance, especially in the large project, because in your real engineering, real large project, context will be hugely consumed by the agent, go through each lines and each files in the project. So this kind of the code intelligence can boost agent performance and significantly saving tokens in your daily works. So the first part is discovery here. So with the ACP registry, teams can onboard agents inside Rider without being logged into the vendor or one agent style. So you may know that Cloud Fable 5, that could be the very good case here. Developers love the cloud models, even me. So, but when you are over-relied on the model providers, you will be cut down at the moment, and your real daily workflows will be hugely impacted. The second part is the connection. Rider built-in MCP server can expose IDE capabilities directly to agents. That means agent can ask for project context, use IDE tools, and work against the same understanding as a developer. So the third part is execution. Yes, Rider's built-in MCP server can can play. So we add some, how can I say, the post-trained features for our own agent Juni, but we will soonly provide this feature to more agents like Cloud Code and Codex on our platform. And they can plan and execute multiple step tasks with test and terminal actions. While teams can also reuse agents such as Cloud Code, Codex, and other ACP compatible tools like Cursor Compose, or you use the GitHub Copilot. For GameDev, the important point is the converge. So different agents can enter the workflow, but Rider remains the shared execution hub. It's the centralized place that for all your GameDev agentic workflow. I will share 5 workflows here, and you can just review them to understand which kind of the Rider's features can help you. And actually, not only Rider, but also other tools in the .automate package, they can benefit it to your coding agents. So the first workflow starts before coding. It starts with understanding the issue. The request, the feature request or the bug tickets may come from UTrack, Jira, GitHub issues, Slack, and other connector. Rider becomes the hub that brings the task into the real project context. We do it through the MCP integration or the IntelliJ plugins, because Rider is an IntelliJ platform IDE. It can already reuse a lot of connectors as a plugins in the marketplace. The agent can use Rider's semantics models to inspect symbols, call chains, dependencies, and possible blast radius. So instead of jumping directly to code generation, it first builds an impact analysis and reviewable plan. And you are there. The matter for both quality and cost. So with better context, the agent needs fewer tokens and make fewer wrong assumptions. With live review inside of IDE, the developer can approve the plan, check the risky actions, and keep control over the VCS operations. The final output is not only the code change, it also a resolution log, patterns learned, and documentations that can enrich the team's knowledge base. So you actually can link or merge, can link Rider's MCP servers and Rider into some we call it should be the knowledge base, team shared knowledge base systems like Glean. In our company, we use Glean. So each agent execution could be summarized and being stored into the Glean and benefit more team members. Every resolved issue can improve the next agent task. For gameplay, yes, it's here. For gameplay and feature implementation, Unity is a strong example why engine-aware context matters. So Rider understands C#, shader labs, unit test, debugging, and many Unity-specific inspections. It can show implicit usages, inspector values, scenes, and prefab references, and performance hints directly in the editor. I will show you later, but you can see the screenshot here. So in Rider, we reworked on the Rider's Unity profiler integration. And as same as the Unity profiler, the UI, you can see it here. But what's way more better is that you can understand each line of codes, how many CPU times how many CPU consumptions are taken on each line of code. It's very easy to help you to inspect on the performance thresholds. So for that means that agent, we also expose such information to agent. That means agent can work through Rider, can receive much richer context than the generic coding agent in the terminal directly. It can see where field is used through the serialization, where the prefab or scene may be affected, and where a quick fix or inspection already suggested and safer paths. So another feature is about shader debugging. It is only available on Rider Unity on Windows. So shader debugging reuse the render docs technology, and you can collect the shader dumps and inspect it, open it in Rider, understand each line of the shaders, and it's mostly useful for the technical artist. And I would say that Rider is the best IDEs, provide the perfect support on the shader files, not only shader labs, but also HLSL. So for developers, shorten the loop from implementation to validation. For technical artists, shader support frame analysis. Such render pipeline debugging make IDE useful beyond plain gameplay code. This same principle extends across different engines. In Unreal, Rider add C++ support, macros and reflection insight, and Unreal Android mobile debugging. For the Unreal developers, that the AGDE, the Android game development environment on Visual Studio, is not the only option anymore. For Godot, the teams get C# support, GD-script navigation, debugging tools, and consistent workspace. We also continue contributing the engine to benefit more developers because Godot is fully free. So this is important for studios because many teams are not single languages, single tool environments. By making these contexts visible inside IDE, Rider give agents a better operational surface. So the agent, not just writing text, is acting in the environment and understands the engine that the team's delivery restrictions. By the way, if you have any workflow are not covered by the standard feature, such as JavaScript and TypeScript related technologies, and Python for gameplay logic, use Lua or Android script for hot update and deploy. We can discuss it later. So the third workflow here is inspection mediated code review. AI can produce code at machine speed, but by human review does not scale at that speed. So the answer is not give up review. So some teams will just say, since AI can write better code than me, I just give up on review. So the answer is to move more review logic into the semantic inspections and quality gates. So Rider can expose inspection capabilities, which means static analysis, and to the agent through the controlled tools proxied by MCP. An agent can inspect code, find usages, understand PSI structures, listed rules, apply quick fixes, refactor safely, and then re-inspect after the change. So for game dev, the inspections are not generic only. So they can reflect Unity allocation patterns. So that's some feature only available in Rider. Unreal macros and blueprints constraints. Godot typing issues and other engine-aware rules. So humans still decide policy to approve risky changes, but they operate at a higher level, quality tools, blockers, leakage, gate verdicts, and merge readiness. It turns review from a pure diff cure, pure diff cure. So you review each other's pull request on your IDEs. And that's a pure diff cure into a controlled production system automatically. This is some new features. We call it, it's not highlighted here due to some reason. So we call it MCP steerage. So we recently do some new investigation on the on-demand tool generation and the pre-merge quality gates. So this is a next generation of harness engineering applications. We have an experimental project called MCP steerage and can expose entire IDE runtime, the JVM, to an agent and generate on-the-fly IDE plugin and tools by Kotlin script. You can use it to summarize your DevFlow SOP instead of using pure Markdown agent skills in the project. Compared with the pure Markdowns, the script to generate IDE tools, it provides you a visible way to manage all your SOPs and DevFlows. It's easier to share it in your team and easy to manage. The stack must help team ship, not only write. So Rider is and the agent work at the development time. So Codana brings the inspection into the team level CI. Team City runs the pipeline and turn validation into a repeatable gate before mainline merge. The key is continuity. So the same rules that guide local development can be team policy and then become part of the release process. So we introduced several workflows here, and I would like to start the demonstration on the actual Rider MCP server capabilities to let you understand how does it works with your coding agent. Give me a sec. So first, I want to introduce this is a real programs. Wait. Yeah, this is a real program. So this is a real Unity program here, and it's a bit latency here. So in the real case of Unity development, I will demonstrate how the MCP server is bundled in Rider and how does it can help you. So first, in the latest version of Rider, you can open your settings here, and we have a settings called MCP server. So MCP server is not a JetBrains AI bundled feature here. It's provided natively with all your IDE installations. So you can see that it provides you a one-click experience to all mainstream agents here, like Cursor, Cloud Code, or Codex. So, and you can also copy your SSE configurations to any other agents like Hermes or use the OpenClaw. So what can the MCP servers do? So we expose a bunch of tools here, actually more than the listed two, because we are doing some new tools released in the 2.6.2. Next release is coming in 1 month. So we expect that you can use these MCP tools to replace the native tools bundled with the coding agent. All the coding agent, like just for example, Codex is open source. So Codex has already bundled with the search tools in Autobox. So you can specify and use some skills. Let the Codex reuse the text search toolset mentioned here, so that when agent want to search something, and it will invoke the search tools you injected through the MCP server. Since all of the operations behind the tools are based on IDE operations, it can help you to save a lot of tokens on the large-scale project. Let's see how does this tools works. So it's worth to mention that besides the basic editing features such as tools, edit, we also introduced some refactoring related functionalities as tools. We package them as tools like rename refactoring, like replace the text in the files. And consider you have, for example, consider you have 1 or 10,000 10,000 files, a large real engineering project, and you would like to rename some variables inside of it. So agent will go through all the implementations in the files, and it will consume a lot of context in each round of the operations. But with Rider, it will invoke replace the text or rename refactoring directly through the MCP server. And these changes are accurate because it's managed by the IDE context. And it can also help you to save a lot of tokens on each routine. So I gave it. So let's see this sample. So it is actually very simple Unity games. It's just a 2D platformer. So for some senior Unity developers, you already seen this in many for many engine versions. So it's a default sample of 2D games. So I want to add a new play for this in this game. I want to add a player to enable player for double jump, which means it can jump again when it is not on the ground. So it was to mention that all the coding agent can do that nowadays, and I just want to demonstrate how the agent will leverage the IDE tools here. I use the Cloud Agent here. Cloud Agent actually is an ACP wrapper of the Cloud Code through the command line. I just give it the prompt here. Okay, let it do. During the session, I want to tell you more about the ACP agents here. So in the ACP agents, the ACP registry provide a list of the agents, mainstream agents, or some new agents, because all of them are submitted by the developers all around the world. So ACP registries provide a lot of all the agents are support ACP. As I just mentioned, the ACP can provide you a unified chat here. So here, this is a unified UI. So through this UI, you can just control your agent directly, and it can also inject the MCP server as well. So you can pass the MCP server, as I just mentioned, and by simply tick it here. We are not an AI log vendor providers. You can use our JetBrains AI subscriptions, but you can use your own codecs and cloud subscriptions as well, such as here. So you can sign in and use your own LLM tokens from different places, through the Google Vertex, Gemini API, or Anthropic platform. You can also use the OpenAI compatible. Use an OpenAI compatible way to proxy any agents you want to use. So for some open source agent, it works on most of scenarios like DeepSeek or Q1. It works, and it's much more cheaper than the age cutting models. And you can also specify which kind of features should be leveraged, which kind of the models here. For the completion models, you can just give it some smaller models, 7B or 12B something. For the instant helpers, it's worth the better or larger scales of LLMs. A lot of things could be customized here. So I will use my JetBrains AI subscriptions for demonstration. Another thing is about the skills. So now the IDE version is on 261, 2026.1. So this is the current latest stable release. But in the 262 release, we will bundle a bunch of the game dev facing agent skills here. And you can use it to inject the skill into your coding agent directly, manage it on the .codex or .cloud, the folders, or use just delegate it to IDEs to manage it. So let's see the result. For my cloud code, just try to leverage the tool search first. Tool search is very helpful functionalities. It means that you don't have to pass the entire MCP.json, the MCP configuration directly to the agent, but use the tool search on each time the agent want to use some tools. So it can save a lot of context on each routine. And then it uses the MCP JetBrains get file text bypass. So some other, let me just give it more space so it's much more easier for you. So it will invoke some MCP tools that we exposed previously, but without using its own searching tools. So if you are using the agent in the CLI, you will see that agent will try to write some file system-based file API instructions such as ls, grep, or grep, this kind of the operations. So, but in IDEs, you don't have to do it to save context. Let's see implement it. Good. We are going to add more and more MCP tools here, and actually not only MCP, we are also considering about the other ways to expose IDE context and IDE functionalities to agent. So MCP is a good approachment, but we are also considering to use the pure CLI ways, which means you can take Rider or the other intelligent IDEs as a headless IDE environment. You don't have to open IDE, and you can be benefited by the IDE functionalities. You can work in somewhere else. Just like to do it. Another feature I would like to demonstrate with you is about the mixed mode debugging and the Unity profiler instructions here. So this is another sample here. As you can see, I already run something here. So in the code, this is a very simple sample programs here. Let's see. Wait. Let me just So I use very simple things to demonstrate some numbers. So you can just add two numbers together, and add two numbers together and see the result here. So, but this functionalities actually is not implemented through C#. Is implemented in the C++. I will see that here. Let's see the source code here. So there are two serialized objects mentioned. The input field here, and it's just displayed in the scene. And another thing is about the some numbers functionality. The function, the signature actually is extracted from DLLs. For some developers who are working with the engine a lot, or you want to working on some platform specific features, and you may have to work with C++ a lot. C++ can actually improve your your programming, your program's performance, but sometimes it's hard to investigate it in it. And I also demonstrate some performance issue here. Before you execute it in the Unreal Editor, you can actually see a lot of notifications on each Unity event functions. So Rider will notice you some high consumption consumption event functions in editor directly, and even for the frequent expensive method invocation, it will also noticed here. It's highlighted, as well as the other how do I say, the changes in the scenes and the prefabs could be also reflected on the code. So you can see each serialized field being changed or being invoked in your code directly. I just demonstrate some high performance consumption issues and performance threshold bottlenecks here, and let's just enable it. Run heavy update, okay? And when you open Rider in Unity profiler, this window, you can go back to the Unity editor and start to profiling your games immediately. Let's see. I open the profiler here, and if you check on the deep profile, it can actually provide more simple information to the Unity profiler. Let's start profiling and run the game. You can see it actually demonstrates some worst scenarios here, and all of the system resources are consumed by some useless functionalities and GC allocations. Let's just stop it. And when you stop profiling and go back to Rider, you will see the profiling data directly. You may ask, what's the difference between this window and the Unity integrated profiler 2 window? The most biggest changes is here. In left side gutter, you will see each lines of code. The execution time and the CPU times is consumed directly without to go through the code stack line by line. And when you click on some, let's say if here this update is actually the tick, right? Untick untick event function, and it's consumed a lot of CPU resources, and you can just click on it and understand how much resources does it taken, and you can just click it in the Unity profiler 2 window, and see the full code stacks of this method. That's really convenient when you are inspecting some complex tool callings and the function callings to check some performance issues. And amazingly, it's just open out of box features here and integrated with the Unity profiler deeply. Even more, actually, you can consider use to use our .trace. .trace is our own profiler tools bundled in the .ultimate. It shares your more inspections on the core CLR and mono runtimes. Because it's time taken, I will not share it. Another thing is about mixed mode debugging. Let's have a check on it. So as you can see, I already this is very simple program here. You can just add some numbers together and show the result. Let me execute the play mode. And the functionality is actually provided in the C++. Previously, I have already built this C++ script here. And in the C# code, I use the pinvoke to invoke the binary directly and invoke the method inside of it. To debug in the mix mode, you need to configure your debugging profile like this. Enable the mix mode debugging so that the debugger will load all the Unity symbols on the startup stage. Let's try to debugging. And please notice I add the breakpoint actually in the C++ code, not in the C#. Let's start debugging. So the first time on the debugger initializations may take some time because it needs to load a lot of symbols from symbol server. Speaking about the symbol loading, so we know in Rider you can load not only DLLs, but not only PDB files, but also DLLs and EXEs from the symbol server. You can also specify your private symbol server in the settings. It's attached, and let's start. It still loads some PDB files. It doesn't matter. Just take some time. Yeah, you can see that breakpoint already attached, and I can just type something to trigger the breakpoint. Voila, it's being triggered here. So you can see that actually not only in the C# context, but also in the C++ context, you can see the debugger works well in the C++ code. The debugging native code could be a very tough scenarios previously in the IDEs beside Visual Studio. Only to say that Visual Studio has its own debugger implementations. It's called VSDBG. But we, JetBrains, we develop our own debugger implementation based on LLDB, which means you can use more and more LLDB commands here to do some complex inspections to check on the CPU actual status in the debugger directly because it's much more powerful than the VSDBG. And you can also see the module loaded here. So this is the sample for Unity.dll here. These DLL are correctly loaded here, and you can also see the PDB files here. All of these loads is also automated. Okay, let's back to our presentation. I still have a few slides here. So now we shift from the workflows I just demonstrated to the people in the game development team. So for gameplay programmers, Rider can help shorten implementations, debugging, and verification loops. The value is not only faster the code generations, it's a safer navigation, better inspections, test, debugger support, and engine-aware refactoring. For the technical artists, some of you may be technical artists because I noticed you will work on the shaders a lot. So Rider can support shaders and material workflows, visual issue locations, and the render pipeline debugging. We are going to implement some GPU debugging features on dedicated platforms such as Snapdragon, the Qualcomm Snapdragon development. So we can check the render pipeline and the status on the dedicated platforms. So for engine, framework, and rendering engineers, the value is global architecture visibilities. Large-scale C++ and C# systems need safe refactoring, dependency awareness, optimized debugging, CMake support, and understanding of engine macros and reflections. Across these roles, AI becomes more useful when it's grounded in a toolset that already reduces complex system changes risk. For the studio tools and AI platform teams, Rider can become the base of internal agents, skills, and studio-specific automations. Instead of every team builds a separate interface to AI, I know that a lot of teams, a lot of companies, a lot of studios trying to build their own AI agents interface nowadays. The organization can consolidate capabilities and share around a shared development environment. For QA, build and release teams, the value is moving test coverage, static analysis, and code gates, quality gates into the pipeline. This shortens feedback loops and protects mainline stability. If you are R&D management or CTO level stakeholders, the story is control. Standardized improvements to chain consistency. Codana and TeamCity improve quality and visibility. AI Enterprise, our AI governance platform, should be the JetBrains cloud platform in the coming few days. Supports governance around budget, security, and legal constraints. .automate the entire .NET and the game development packs matters here because it packages the board, the .NET, and GameDev toolset as an ecosystem, not just a single IDE purchase. Adoption usually expanded in 3 stages. For teams who cares about the AI adoptions or the IDE tooling usages in your teams, you can have a reference on these slides. The first group is the core users, gameplay programmers, engine developers, tool engineers, and technical artists, the people who are working with the code every day. They adopt first because they feel the daily pain of coding, debugging, assess the related context, and validation loops. The second group is the process owners, QA, build leads, and the agent platform teams. The operational value by turning local improvements into a team level understands, gates, and feedback loops. The third group is decision maker. That's why Rider adoption should not be framed only as an editor choice. So I know that most of you are developers, but you can really reconsider Rider as an integrated ecosystem. So it's a path for individual productivity to governance software production. So in the past, the IDE was where human wrote code. In the agentic era, the IDE becomes a shared place where human and agent build games together. So it's the best place to put harness engineering into practice. For game dev, this matters more than in many other domains because the work deeply contextual. Engine, assets, build system, VCS rules, performance signals, and release gates are all shaped whether the change is safe. So the proposal is not add AI on top of the workflow. So it's to make Rider the control center of the workflow, where AI can create value without breaking production discipline. Yeah. So all of my sessions here. So if you have any questions, you can come to our booth and we can discuss it on later. Thank you.
바로 한번 시작해 보도록 하겠습니다. 여러분들이 질문을 남겨주셨는데 지금 보니까 한 20여 개 정도 질문이 있는데요. 저희는 좀 최대한 많이 다 이제 커버리지 해보고 싶어서 일단은 노력을 해보도록 하겠습니다. 라이더의 테스트 환경이 좀 궁금하고 단위 테스트, 통합 테스트, 시나리오 테스트 등 각 테스트 단계별 라이더만의 특화된 기능이나 장점에 대해서 여쭤보셨습니다. Who's gonna answer?
Yes, so it seems that somebody is want to seek for the end-to-end use scenario for the unit test. I believe it's not only the unit test, could be also the integration test, right? For the gameplay logic entirely. So yeah, so Riders now can be invoked through the MCP tools to execute some unit test. So since we are an IDE, we mostly focus on the unit test, but you actually can you can use some ways like TDD, test-driven development, right? You can specify a set of the documentations, declares all your features, all the business process logic inside the TDD documentations, and load it as a part of the context when you send in it to the agent. And let the agent determine which kind of test could be implemented through the unit test. Rider will execute the unit test tools as yourself in IDEs. If you not only actually you don't have to use ACP integration. You can just proxy the Rider MCP server in any kind of CLI agents, and then let the agent to invoke the MCP server, run a test, and grab some coverage, test coverage, and to ensure that all the logic unit test, and then you can just check the coverage data. That could be the kind of the solution for this scenario. And we actually implement some skills called finding test. So in the latest Rider 2026.2, so it will be released in next month, but now we already released the latest EAP version. I think that could be the last EAP version for 262. So you can upgrade your Rider to this version and be benefited by some out-of-box unit test related skills. I hope that could be helpful because it's hard to measure some semantic semantic result just through the IDE, just through the code. So why not just focus on the coverage? If you can cover all the unit tests based on the TDD documentations, that could be useful. Yeah, that's my personal idea. Thanks.
네, 다양한 이제 방법과 또 AI 쪽에서는 스킬스나 이런 것들이 나오기 때문에 더 도움이 되지 않을까 싶습니다. 다음 질문 열어주시면은 AI가 발전함에 따라서 작은 규모 또는 개인적으로 이루어진 개발자들이 많이 등장하게 될 것 같은데 작은 팀의 경우 사용하는 툴이 많아질수록 토큰 사용량에 대한 부담감을 느낍니다.
Yeah, I'll provide a short answer. Actually, we covered this part in our presentation. So as we mentioned before, we built a lot of game dev skills and we built Rider MCP server to actually cover this exact problem together with the context window problem as well. So if you, instead of utilizing generic agent tools, invoke Rider MCP, you will be able to optimize token consumption on complex tasks like indexing or navigation. You will get a lot of improvements.
So I also would like to mention another thing is we are working on post-training some open source models with our partners. So like I cannot tell you the exact partner names, but we already seek some solutions like that. So we are going to post-train some tools inside of the LLMs. And although that open source models not always works as well as the edge-cutting models like Cloud or GPT flagship models, but they have very good cost performance. So we choose this way, and you can expect to be benefited by more models provided by JetBrains AI. Thanks.
네, 양사에서 또 다 많은 이제 코스트 세이빙 노력을 하고 계신 것 같습니다. 네, 다음 질문은 좀 더 짧네요. 라이더에서 AI를 사용할 때 루프 엔지니어링으로 지원하나요? So the question number 2 about Rider.
Answer is yes or no. So the first question is about does Rider support agentic workflows? Yes, but our current our own agent still have like some abilities on the sub agent or the multi runs like. You already know some features like ultra code in the cloud code, but that's okay. You can just integrate the Rider inside of it. So we're positioning our IDEs like IDEs for AI, but not a new AI agent. So you can just use Rider to customize your own workflow on these scenarios. Most different things, AI specific capabilities, different from the other IDEs. Yes, so other IDEs, I'm not sure if you can give me some case that can be invoked through MCP servers and invoke the debugging, add breakpoints, run unit test, and refactory. I think you at the moment, from my understanding, only Rider or only intelligent IDEs can do that.
Yeah, so basically, if you take a look at the IDE landscape, there are not many options to choose from IDE, right? And to add to Tao, another unique advantage is having a JetBrains AI and ACP registry. There is no vendor lock, and this is the only full-featured IDE that has no vendor lock and can provide basically any AI integration that you have in your mind, or integrate in your existing agentic workflow through the MCP server.
퀵하게 또 다음 질문 넘어가 보도록 하겠습니다. 에셋을 포함해서 수기가에 해당하는 대용량 파일을 다루어야 할 때 서브 에이전트별 워크트리로 급격히 작업 속도가 느려지는 성능 저하를 겪었었는데 라이더나 유니티 AI에서 멀티 에이전트나 팀으로 병렬 처리할 때 성능은 어떤지?
So for this question, I think there's most advantages for the Rider integrated MCP support and ACP support. So as you already know that we will just split all the resource and all the code sources and accesses in the IDEs. And if you can try to replace you can just use some prompt like the global prompt, global user annotations, and use some skills to replace agent bundled search skills like file. All the file API related tools actually could be replaced by Rider MCP tools. So in that way, that Rider can help you only access the code sources. So I believe that does anyone has some case that your code sources over several gigabytes inside? But we can have a discuss on it because we actually have some customers who works on the project that code space, the entire code space over 500 gigabytes, and Rider could be a good solution on that situations.
네, 다음 질문. 라이더가 자율적으로 GitHub나 지라에 주기적으로 접속해 이슈를 가져와 처리할 수 있나요?
Yeah, I'm going to answer this question. So basically, Rider, since it is IDE, it doesn't have like such activities as sitting and monitoring if something happened in GitHub or Jira, but you can delegate this task to AI agents such as Juni, for example, because Juni can execute some workflows on trigger, which allows you to just check like every hour if something new appeared in GitHub or Jira, and then just to build your workflow that way. So you could just write some code, fix it, write some comments, and everything is supported. So you can just free to write it out, to try it out. Yeah, that's it.
Next question. Oh, it shows in English.
Yeah, so I'm going to answer this one as well. Basically, Rider and ReSharper C++ have their own code analysis and a lot of features which are developed by JetBrains developers. And ClangD, it can be used in CLine. However, CLine Nova, which uses ReSharper C++ as the primary code analysis engine, it indeed doesn't support ClangD-friendly code linting, but you can switch back to CLine Classic mode. And in this case, it will use ClangD as a primary engine. But we would also like to chat with those who ask this question and to learn more about the case and why do you want to use ClangD instead of ReSharper C++? Because in ReSharper we have much more advanced code analysis, and especially for game development, we understand a lot about Unreal semantics, understand about Unity semantics, so everything we can do in ReSharper.
네, 공통 질문이 될 것 같습니다. 라이더에서 코덱스를 돌려서 문제 해결을 할 때 로딩 시간이 좀 필요한데요. 주로 스트레칭 시간을 갖기도 하는데 연사님들은 기다리는 시간을 어떻게 활용하는지 궁금합니다. 어떤 개발자나 다른 브런치나 세컨 컴퓨터를 활용하여 코덱스가 하는 동안 또 개발을 진행한다고 하시는데 어떻게 생각하시는지 궁금합니다.
So quick answer is for me personally, I just wait, get some coffee, have a short break, and wait for agent loop. And I mean that this question should be could be well resolved by the remote run, something we call the remote agent. So we not discuss it today, but JetBrains does. We are building some remote run related features. We are creating our own cloud platforms, which allows developers who can assign their agent tasks on a remote agent. And I believe at the moment, Rider could work as a headless IDEs, participate the entire agent workflows on remote run side, and so that at the moment it should be by the remote agent. The sandbox should be also being benefited by the IDE-related features.
Yeah, so as for me, I usually do some other part of work, like communicating with a lot of people and just having some coffee. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
For me, I have two things. If I have time, I like to do some quick exercise because we all work a lot. I believe we all have to work over time, so it's very hard to find time for exercise and for health. So I usually use it to do something like a physical activity. Otherwise, of course, having a meeting with someone, because also finding time to have a talk is very difficult. So I usually use it for that.
네, 다들 비슷하신 것 같습니다. 코덱스나 클로드 코드에 최근에 데스크탑 앱 지원과 모바일 앱으로 원격에서 세션으로 접근할 수 있도록 기능을 지원하는데 라이더나 인텔리제이에서 사용하던 AI 챗 세션이 코덱스나 클로드에 연동되는 구조는 아직 아닌 것 같습니다. 네. 준이도 리모트 컨트롤 지원 계획이 있는지 궁금합니다.
The first question is about are there any plans for JetBrains to support session continuity across different devices? Plans, yes, haven't been implemented, and but I know there are a lot of open source tools can help you do that. You can just synchronize your chat sessions from different platforms, and even the chat histories, chat memories actually. Memory distilled from all the chat sessions could be synchronized from different agent workspace. and provide remote access to IDE sessions. We are planning to release a new product. It's called Air. So Air is part of our JetBrains Cloud Platform product. It's an AD agentic development development environment. So for this product, it supports to works across different platforms, as Air is natively built by the KMP, Kotlin multi-platform technologies, and you can use it across different PC platforms, Windows, Mac, and Linux. And in the future, we will also consider release the Android and iOS release for this application. So at the moment, Air will have some integrations with dedicated IntelliJ IDEs like Rider or IDEA. And the third question is about for Juni, any plans to support remote control? It already supported. So Juni has two different products. One is called the Juni in IDE, which you can see in the AI chat. Another is the Juni CLI. For the Juni agent in the AI chat wrapped by the ACP protocol, it has a CLI version. So you can just try to use the CLI version, the EAP, early access plan, the EAP version of Juni CLI, and you will see that feature of the provide you remote access on using the agent. Yeah.
And just one quick comment, as Tao mentioned about a preview for Juni CLI, there is also preview for Air. So if you would like to try, please try out. It's free for preview, experiment, and please share your feedback and your comments.
Free token. Yeah. We provide a lot of free tokens for the EAP versions. Yes.
네, 다음 질문으로 빠르게 넘어가 보도록 하겠습니다. JetBrains Rider 팀에게 전 세계 대비 한국 게임 개발 시장의 중요성이 어떤지.
Great question. Well, we are here, so it means it's important. We don't go everywhere. But jokes aside, in GameDev ecosystem, we don't focus on one specific region. I will be honest with you. So we don't have focus just on Europe or just on South Korea or America. We support all the markets, and we try to cover as much as possible. But I personally give you a secret. I love Korean game dev. I love Korean games. So I play a lot. I'm myself a gamer, so I love Lies of P. I love Hazan. I played a lot of Lineage and Ion in my past life. So Korean game dev market is important, and we would like to explore with more and support Korean game developers. What we are currently missing, I will be honest with you, we miss more feedback. We'd like more Korean game developers to speak up and communicate with us or with our partners, because we are listening to feedback. As I mentioned before, a whole roadmap of Rider is built by developers, by our customers, by our users. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us, to submit tickets, to communicate with partners. We would love to be building Rider for you better.
마지막 질문입니다. 공통 질문이고요. 라이더, 유니티 발표자분들 모두에게 여쭙고 싶습니다. 사내에서 개발을 진행할 때 AI를 대략 몇 %, 어느 정도 비율로 사용하시는지, 또 어느 부분에서 사용을 하고 있는지 궁금합니다. 그리고 AI가 작성한 모든 코드를 다시 읽으면서 검수를 해야 되는지, 자동화 테스트 등 읽지 않고 좀 검수도 자동화할 수 있는지 알아보고 싶습니다.
Well, as for me, I do rely on AI features a lot, and like JetBrains features is not the only ones which I use. I also consult a lot with, for example, ChatGPT, and I do something for just graphics, and many features I rely on. And ChatGPT I use mostly just for building some proper communication process with our customers across the world. And in Rider I just use many to prepare some demos, and that's it.
Okay, so yes, I would say our company is quite generous to provide us a very high token limitation bars, and it's available to every employee to try with all the AI-related features. The entire group spend a lot on the AI consumptions. And yes, what kind of a task? I mostly use AI to review all the users' feedback and we have an entire workflows that we can use the users' feedback, which means your support request, your bug request or feature request, and the agent will detect our code base directly and try to analyze where is the position of the mentioned issues there, JetBrains IDEs as intelligent IDE products, not only Rider but also Idea, Golang, PyCharm. These IDEs we use the development mode. We call it the meta-based or shared Git-based. How could I say that? All the IDE products use the same code base. Yeah, we use a mono repo. So we use a mono repo ways to develop all the intelligent IDEs, and so it's easy for agent to go through all the issue mentioned by the users, and it's easily to detect whether it's an intelligent platform issue or whether it's an Rider or other product specific issues. So after that, the agent will automate, summarize all the issues or create new tracker issues on trackers. We use utrack. So for the people who are not familiar with utrack is JetBrains official issue trackers, and you can search all the product related informations on utrack. I think that previously I heard about utrack team. They are going to provide a utrack MCP server to all the developers, so that you can search your own questions with semantic informations and let it match the dedicated issues on the tracker. Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
네, 장시간 또 Q&A 저희 했는데 못다한 질문들이 굉장히 많아요. Q&A가 저희가 진행하면서도 계속 들어와서 다 못다한 질문들 많은데 그래도 꼭 답을 듣고 이제 가시길 권장 드리기 때문에 이 네트워킹 시간을 이용해서 앞쪽에 이제 연사분들에게 최대한 질문 많이 해주시고 다 답변 얻어가는 알찬 시간들 이어갔으면 좋겠습니다. 마지막으로 저기 안드레이가 비행기가 지금 9시인데 아직 지금 이제 가야 되는데 마지막으로 이제 한마디만 듣고 이제 인사말 듣고 이제 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. 안드레이.
Yeah, thank you very much once again to joining us today, our joint event together with Unity and our lovely Tangunsoft. Thank you for your questions and your interest to our products. And for any time, if you have any questions, feel free to outreach Tangunsoft team or JetBrains team. We are technical support or sales support links, and if you want to try our products, apply for the trials, for extended trials. If you have any feedback, please share it with us, and we really appreciate that you stay with JetBrains. And thank you for our colleagues from Unity team. Yeah, thank you very much.